Watch this carefully. A teenage girl and a young man walk toward a house on a Thursday evening. His hand gestures as they talk. She laughs at something he says. They step inside together. Only he emerges. This young man is her stepfather. He's been part of a family for 2 years. He helped her study for exams. He drove her to soccer practice. He listened when she cried about her biological father who died 3 years ago. What nobody knew is that this young man had been waiting for this exact moment for over 19 years. He existed in this family's story before the marriage, before he became part of the household, before anyone realized a connection. And he spent nearly 2 decades making sure he would be the one who survived. This is the story of a boy who never forgot. And once you understand how long he waited, you'll never look at blended families the same way again. Maya Richardson was 17 years old, a senior at Westbrook Academy in Portland, Oregon. She maintained a 3.8 grade point average. She played varsity soccer. She planned to major in criminal justice. Her friends described her as observant, the type who asked probing questions, the type who caught details everyone else overlooked, the type who couldn't abandon a puzzle once something captured her interest. That final trait sealed her fate. On October 22, 2024, Maya arrived home from school with her stepfather, Tyler Grant. A doorbell camera recorded them approaching the house together. 14 seconds of footage. Beyond those 14 seconds, Maya Richardson was never seen breathing again. Her stepfather called the police 5 hours later, claiming Maya had vanished from her bedroom. Window open, phone on her nightstand, backpack by the door. The question everyone asked was, where did she go? But that was the wrong question. The right question was, who was Tyler Grant before he became Maya's stepfather? And the answer had been buried for 19 years. Let me take you back to 1999, a youth basketball league in Eugene, Oregon. Kids from all over the state. 2 8-year-olds meet during tryouts. His name was Tyler Grant from Salem. Her name was Jennifer Richardson from Portland. 4 to 5 minutes apart. They spent that entire season together. By the championship game, they were inseparable. What started on the basketball court continued for 7 years. Phone calls every single night. Visits on weekends whenever they could arrange it. Tyler would take the bus to Portland. Jennifer would convince her parents to drive to Salem. They made it work the way young people in love make things work. Desperately, completely, the kind of love that consumes your entire world. Tyler never brought Jennifer home to meet his mother. Not because he was hiding her, because their time together was precious and he didn't want to waste it on awkward family dinners. His mother knew he had a girlfriend in Portland. She'd heard her name. She'd never seen her face. That detail becomes critical later. For 7 years, Tyler and Jennifer planned their future. After high school, they both moved to Seattle, go to the University of Washington together, get an apartment, get married, have kids. Tyler had it all mapped out. He was already looking at engagement rings when they were 16. And then in the summer of 2006, Jennifer went to a party in Portland without him. One party, one night, one mistake. His name was David Richardson. He was a friend's older brother. Jennifer was tipsy. David was there. It happened once. One time, but once was enough. 4 weeks later, Jennifer told Tyler she was pregnant. And in 2006, in their traditional families with their religious backgrounds, there was only one option. Jennifer's parents sat her down. David's parents sat him down. There would be a wedding. There would be a family. Jennifer would do the right thing. And Tyler Grant would be left behind. Jennifer broke up with Tyler on a Wednesday afternoon in August 2006. She drove 4 to 5 minutes to Salem to tell him in person. She told him about the pregnancy. She told him about the wedding. She told him she was sorry. She told him she didn't have a choice. Tyler didn't scream. He didn't cry. He sat there and listened to every word. When she finished, he looked at her and said, "I understand." And then he said something else. He said, "This isn't over." Jennifer thought he meant they'd stay friends. That wasn't what he meant. Here's what happened next. Jennifer married David in October 2006. Small ceremony, family only. Tyler wasn't invited. He was supposed to disappear from Jennifer's life forever. But 4 weeks after the wedding, he sent her a message, just to talk, just because they'd been together for so long. Jennifer should have ignored it. She didn't. They met at a coffee shop halfway between Salem and Portland. Then they met at a park. Then they met at a rental house Tyler had found near Silver Falls State Park, 40 minutes from Portland, 40 minutes from Salem, far enough from both that no one would see them. Tyler had rented it with money he'd saved from his part-time job. Eventually, when he turned 18 and got a full-time job at a tech company, he bought it, a place that belonged only to them. And for the next 15 years, Jennifer Richardson lived 2 lives. Monday through Friday, she was a wife and mother in Portland. She took care of Maya. She went to doctor appointments. She pretended to be present. But twice a month, sometimes more, she drove to their house. And Tyler was always there waiting, patient. He had built his entire life around those visits. Tyler moved to Beaverton after Jennifer's wedding, just 20 minutes from Portland. He got a job as a software developer at Intel. He was good at it, focused, dedicated, patient. The same qualities that made him wait 15 years for a woman who kept promising to leave her husband. He worked. He lived alone. He never dated anyone else. He never had a serious relationship. His co-workers thought he was career-focused, private, independent. They didn't know that twice a month he met a married woman at a house in the woods. They didn't know that he'd been in love with the same person since he was 8 years old. They didn't know that he was waiting, always waiting for Jennifer to leave David, for Jennifer to choose him, for the life he'd been promised when he was 13 years old. But Jennifer never left. She always had an excuse. Maya was too young. The timing wasn't right. David would get custody in the divorce. She needed more time. 15 years of more time. And Tyler's patience started to turn into something else. Let me tell you what David Richardson's life looked like for 15 years. He knew something was wrong. He felt it. Jennifer was distant, distracted. She had errands that didn't quite add up. She was never fully present even when she was home. He asked her once if there was someone else. She said no. He didn't believe her, but he had no proof, and he had Maya. His daughter was everything to him. So David stayed. He made the best of a marriage that felt hollow. He told himself that maybe all marriages felt this way after a while. He told himself that Jennifer was a good mother, even if she wasn't a great wife. He told himself a lot of things to get through the days. David also suffered from severe back pain. Bad pain, the kind that kept him up at night. He'd injured it in a construction accident when he was 22. The medication was expensive. Insurance covered some, but not all. It was a constant financial stress on top of everything else. One day, Jennifer came home with a solution. A friend from her gym knew someone who could get the medication cheaper. Much cheaper. David didn't ask too many questions. The pills looked the same. They worked the same. And they saved the family hundreds of dollars a month. What David didn't know was that there was no friend from the gym. The medication came from Tyler. He bought it online from overseas pharmacists, the kind that don't ask questions. He told Jennifer he was doing her a favor, helping her save money, being useful. Jennifer thought it was generous. She thought Tyler was showing her that he could be part of her life in ways that helped her family. She didn't know that Tyler was adding something to those pills before he gave them to her. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid. In small doses mixed with pain medication, it's nearly undetectable. In accumulating doses over time, it causes respiratory depression, confusion, extreme drowsiness, and eventually respiratory failure. Tyler was a smart man. He'd researched exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly how long it would take, and he knew that no one would ever connect the dots. Everyone would think it was an accidental overdose, a tragic consequence of the opioid epidemic. March 2021, Maya was 14 years old. David was 31. That spring, David started feeling more tired than usual. Not regular tired, deep exhausted. He went to the doctor. Blood tests, exams. Everything came back normal except slightly elevated liver enzymes. They adjusted his pain medication dosage and told him to rest. Nothing helped because David kept taking his pain medication, the same pills he'd been taking for over a year, the pills that were slowly killing him. In May 2021, David collapsed in the garage. Maya found him when she came home from school. Paramedics arrived in 6 minutes. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Cause of death, accidental opioid overdose. He was 31 years old. The medical examiner noted the presence of fentanyl in his system, consistent with contaminated black market pain medication. Tragic, but not uncommon. The opioid crisis was claiming lives every day. Nobody thought to investigate where the medication came from. Nobody connected his death to his wife's friend from the gym. Nobody suspected murder. Jennifer was devastated. Maya was destroyed. And Tyler Grant was patient. He waited. He didn't reach out right away. He knew how these things worked. He'd been planning this moment for 2 years. 11 months after David's death, Jennifer started seeing someone new. That's what she told her family. A man she'd met through a mutual friend. His name was Tyler. He was a software developer from Beaverton, kind, understanding. He knew what loss felt like. Jennifer's family welcomed him. They'd never met the Tyler from basketball camp. They'd heard the name 19 years ago, but they'd never seen his face. Jennifer had never brought him home. So when this Tyler walked into their lives, nobody recognized him. Why would they? It had been nearly 2 decades. People forget. People move on. Except Tyler never forgot. Tyler never moved on. And now he was inside the house, sleeping in the bed that used to be David's, eating dinner at the table where David sat, living alongside the daughter that should have been his. Within 6 months, Jennifer and Tyler were married. Tyler officially became Maya's stepfather. He took on the role with dedication. He was there for parent-teacher conferences. He helped with college applications. He learned Maya's schedule and preferences and fears. He did everything right. Almost everything. Because Tyler kept one thing from his old life. In his wallet, behind his credit cards, he kept a photograph. A photo boo strip from 2004. 4 tiny pictures of him and Jennifer at 13, smiling, kissing, making faces at the camera, young and in love, and certain about their future. Tyler had carried that photo for 20 years. He couldn't let it go. It was proof that he was there first. Proof that Jennifer had belonged to him before she belonged to anyone else. He kept it hidden, but he kept it close. That was a mistake. October 16th, 2024. 6 days before Maya disappeared. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Jennifer was at work. Maya needed cash for a school fundraiser. She asked Tyler, but Tyler was in the garage working on his car. So Maya did what any teenager would do. She went to Tyler's room to grab a 20 from his wallet on the dresser. She opened the wallet. She looked behind the credit cards, and she found a photograph. 4 pictures of a mother, young, maybe 13, with a boy who looked exactly like Tyler, kissing. Maya stared at that photo for a long time. She didn't understand at first. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe Tyler just looked like someone her mom used to know. But Maya was observant, the one who noticed things others missed, the one who couldn't let something go. That night, she searched online. She found old yearbook photos from schools in Salem. She found Tyler Grant. Same face, same smile, same person. Her mother's boyfriend from when she was a teenager was now her stepfather. And nobody had ever mentioned it. Not her mother, not Tyler. Why would they hide that? What else were they hiding? Maya didn't confront them right away. She watched. She listened. She noticed how Tyler looked at her sometimes. Not with fatherly affection, with something else. Something like resentment. She noticed how her mother acted around Tyler. Guilty, nervous, like she was always apologizing for something. And she started thinking about her father. How tired he'd been before he died. How sudden it was. How the medical examiner said the pills were contaminated. Maya wasn't a detective. She was a 17-year-old girl, but she knew something was wrong. She told her best friend Sophia on October 20th. She said, "I found something weird." She said, "I think my stepfather knew my mom before." She said, "Something doesn't feel right about how my dad died." Sophia told her to talk to her mother. Maya said she needed more proof first. She said she was going to look around the house, see if she could find anything else. That was October 20th. October 22nd was the last day anyone saw her alive. What happened on October 22nd, 2024? Here's what investigators believe. Maya came home from school with Tyler around 4:15 p.m. Jennifer was at work. The doorbell camera shows them walking toward the house together, talking normally. What happened inside is based on evidence found later. At some point that afternoon, Tyler discovered that Maya had been looking through his things. Maybe Maya confronted him. Maybe Tyler noticed a photo had been moved. Maybe Maya said something that revealed she knew. Whatever triggered it, Tyler made a decision. He'd waited 19 years for this life. He'd killed one obstacle already. He could eliminate another. Maya was found 8 days later in a house near Silver Falls State Park, the same house where Tyler and Jennifer had been meeting for 15 years. She had been strangled. Her body was hidden in a crawl space beneath the kitchen floor. Tyler had kept the house all these years. He'd never told Jennifer he still owned it after they got married. It was his secret place, and it became Maya's grave. The investigation started with the doorbell camera footage. Tyler was the last person seen with Maya. Police questioned him immediately. He was calm, cooperative. He said Maya had gone to her room after they got home. He said he'd gone to the gym, and when he came back 2 hours later, Maya's window was open and she was gone. Same story, same pattern. The worried stepfather who had no idea what happened. Detectives might have believed him. Except Maya's friend Sophia came forward on day 3. She told them about the photograph. She told them about Maya's suspicions. She told them Maya thought something was wrong about her father's death. That changed everything. Detectives started digging into Tyler Grant's background. They found his employment records at Intel. They found the house near Silver Falls State Park that had been in his name since 2007. They got a warrant. They drove out there. The house was remote, surrounded by forest, no neighbors for a quarter mile. The kind of place where no one would hear anything. They found Maya's body on October 30th, 8 days after she disappeared. She was in a crawl space beneath the kitchen floor. She had been strangled, and she had been there the whole time while her mother was on television begging for information, while community organized search parties, while Tyler stood next to Jennifer holding her hand and crying on camera. Maya was 35 minutes away under the floorboards of her stepfather's secret house. Forensics swept the property for days. They found Maya's DNA throughout the house. They found something else, too. In a bedroom closet, hidden behind old camping equipment, they found a box that Tyler had kept for 19 years. Inside were photographs. Tyler and Jennifer as children at basketball camp. Tyler and Jennifer at the house over the years. Printed photos organized by date going back to 2007. And in a separate envelope, 5 photographs of David Richardson. Not family photos. Surveillance photos. David at his construction site. David at Maya's school pickup. David in his own garage, taken through a window. Tyler had been watching him for years before he died. Investigators reopened David's death as a homicide. They exhumed his body. New toxicology found levels of fentanyl inconsistent with accidental contamination, more consistent with deliberate, repeated dosing over months. They traced the pain medication Jennifer had been bringing home for years. They found Tyler's purchase history from overseas pharmacies. They found his internet search history, queries about fentanyl dosing, about opioid metabolism, about how to make a death look accidental. Someone had been poisoning David Richardson for over a year. Someone who had access to unregulated medications. Someone who was sleeping with his wife and waiting for him to die. The perfect murder disguised as a tragedy of the opioid epidemic. Tyler Grant was arrested on November 2nd, 2024. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Maya Richardson and David Richardson. Two people who stood between him and the life he believed he deserved. Jennifer Richardson was questioned for weeks. Investigators wanted to know if she was involved. She wasn't. She was guilty of infidelity, guilty of lying to her husband for 15 years, guilty of bringing poison into her home thinking it was medication, guilty of bringing her former lover into her family and letting him become her daughter's stepfather. But she didn't know about the murders. She didn't know Tyler had contaminated the pills. She didn't know he'd killed Maya. When detectives showed her the surveillance photos of David, she broke down completely. She thought her husband died of an accidental overdose. She thought she was helping him by getting cheaper medication. She thought she was lucky to find love again with Tyler. She thought her daughter's death was a random tragedy. Learning that the man she'd loved since she was 8 had murdered her husband and daughter destroyed her. Jennifer testified at the trial. She told the whole story. The basketball camp, the long-distance relationship, the pregnancy that ended it, the affair that lasted 15 years, the house, the medication, everything. She sat on the witness stand and admitted to every lie she'd ever told. She admitted that she never loved David the way he deserved. She admitted that she'd been thinking about Tyler on her wedding day. She admitted that she'd been with Tyler the week before David died. When the prosecutor asked her if she felt responsible, she said yes. Not for the murders, for creating the conditions that made them possible, for keeping Tyler close all those years, for feeding his obsession instead of ending it, for carrying poison into her own home with her own hands, for choosing her selfish needs over her family's safety. Jennifer Richardson is not facing charges, but everyone in Portland knows her name. Everyone knows what she did. Everyone knows that her affair created the obsession that killed her family. She has to live with that. During the trial, Tyler Grant showed no emotion. He sat in the courtroom with the same patient expression he'd worn for 19 years. Witnesses came forward. Co-workers who remembered him asking about pain medication. A pharmacy tech who remembered him researching opioid interactions. The evidence was overwhelming. But what haunted the jury most was a box from the house. 19 years of photographs organized by date. A shrine to an obsession that never died. When the prosecutor asked him why he did it, he said something that silenced the room. He said, "I was there first. I was there before David, before Maya, before any of it. David took what was mine. Maya was never supposed to exist. I just corrected a mistake that happened 19 years ago." The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on both counts. Life without parole. He'll die in prison. But before he was sentenced, he looked at Jennifer in the gallery. He looked at her the same way he'd looked at her when they were 8 years old at basketball camp. Like she was the only person in the world. Like nothing else mattered. And he said, "I'd do it again." Jennifer collapsed in her seat. The woman who had spent 15 years sneaking away to meet him. The woman who had brought him into her home to live with her daughter. The woman who had carried his poison to her husband with her own hands. She finally understood what her choices had cost. Everything. Think about what it takes to wait 19 years. Think about the patience required to watch the person you love marry someone else, have a child with someone else, build a life with someone else, and never let go, never move on, never accept that it's over. Most people would grieve and eventually heal. Tyler Grant didn't grieve. He planned. He used his intelligence to learn how to kill without being caught. He used his access to technology to research untraceable methods. He waited for his moment. And when David finally died and Jennifer finally brought him into her home, he didn't see it as a second chance. He saw it as a correction. He was putting things back the way they should have been. Maya wasn't an innocent girl who lost a father. Maya was evidence of Jennifer's betrayal. Evidence that she'd chosen someone else, even if only for one drunken night. Every time Tyler looked at Maya, he saw David. He saw the pregnancy that ruined his life. He saw 19 years of waiting, and he decided to erase it all. Maya Richardson knew something was wrong. She found the photograph. She did the research. She told her friend that something didn't feel right. She was going to find the truth. And that's exactly what got her killed. If she'd never looked in that wallet, If she'd never found those photos, if she'd kept the suspicion to herself, maybe she'd still be alive. Or maybe Tyler was always going to eliminate Maya eventually. Maybe it was never a question of if, but when. Tyler had waited 19 years to have Jennifer completely to himself. He wasn't going to share her with the ghost of David Richardson. And he wasn't going to share her with David's daughter either. Pay attention to who your parents dated before they met each other. Pay attention to the relationships that ended badly. Pay attention to the person who never moved on. Because sometimes love doesn't let go. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it watches. And sometimes it decides that if it can't have what it wants, it will simply remove everything in its way. Tyler Grant loved Jennifer Richardson when he was 8 years old. He still loved her when he was 33. And that love killed 2 people. David Richardson never knew the man who was poisoning him. He trusted his wife when she brought home medication to help him. Maya Richardson never knew her stepfather was a mother's first love. She trusted the man who drove her to practice and helped with homework. They trusted the people in their lives. They trusted their wife. They trusted their mother. And they both died because of it. If you're living in a blended family, if your parent remarried, if there's someone new in your home, ask questions. Look at old photographs. Pay attention to what doesn't feel right. Because Maya paid attention. Maya noticed. And she was killed for it. But at least she knew the truth before she died. Her father never even got that.